over the last month and a half, I hope you're doing well first and foremost. First off, let's start this off. What are boundaries and how do you initiate boundaries between personal and professional? Welcome. If you're new here, my name is Netta, aka Chattering Mommy. I talk about everything there is ADHD life as a whole. And with parenting, homeschooling, you name it. Any of my videos you see, it has something to do with ADHD, shenanigans, the whole nine yards. So today I want to talk in depth about boundaries. Because one thing with as a woman with ADHD, many people with ADHD, it's hard to balance and have boundaries. First and foremost, we don't balance. If we were balanced, we would have a neurotypical brain. But because our brain is imbalanced, we are neurodivergent, meaning we have two or more ways of how our brain is receptive to information and also how we deliver information, if that makes sense. In regards to boundaries, let me give you a scenario. Well, let me just tell you, over the last maybe 5 weeks, I have dealt with toxicity in the workplace. Now, I do not have a physical, I don't have a physical office in which I go to daily. I don't have an HR who I speak with. I am indeed pretty much self-employed, but also I am a subcontractor and independent contractor, but I'm a subcontractor for this one particular agency. And it's always off and on. It's off and on. And what sucks is that when people think they can treat you any kind of way, and in this particular instant, it was the client. The clients actually wanted me to, let's say, bow to her. I'm going to say that, bow to them. Let me phrase, bow to them, to say the least, and do what they wanted me to do. And even though it was immoral and unethical in that situation, I'm not going to get to deets, but in that case, what do? What would you do, right? Generally, in the past, before I've learned to make my brain work for me, I would snap, crackle, pop, didn't care how you feel, right? I'm telling you like it is. Do I still think as fast? I want to think faster and rationalize things, but that's still a process for me as a whole. I can coach others through it, but certain scenarios, it's a process for me. So in this specific instance, I said no. My client wanted me to do something totally out of my scope as my profession as a doula, totally something I do not do. And I said, no, I can't do that. Very nice, very kind. And they were belligerent, so to speak. They didn't say anything belligerent to me, but they reached out to my agency owner. So basically, as my agency owner is more like a partner. Just because they own the agency, they refer us to different contracts and things like that. But we're doing all the work. I still have to work within my scope of what was morally and ethically right for me. You would think, being the fact we're in this profession together, that the superior, I'm going to use that terminology, but you guys know I mean agency owner, the superior would say, hey, I'm going to bat for my doula. I'm going to bat for my partner here. Didn't happen. Know why? So what do you do? What do you do when you have certain boundaries that you know that you have, and how do you balance those boundaries? One way you can balance those boundaries is providing factual evidence in reference to why you wouldn't do something. So that's one thing I did. I said no, and the client said something else, and I sent the client information as to why I wouldn't do this as a whole. Why this is not what will happen. The client acted as if they were appreciative, but I don't think they were. I think they were really upset that I challenged them. Okay. Agency director, I said no. I'm not doing something is outside of my scope. My scope is my scope. Your scope is your scope. Agency director had to respect it, but at the same time was very nonchalant with it. Client then stated I was no longer a fit. In that instant, RSD kicked in. Questions in my head. Should I not have said that? Did I say it the wrong way? Should I just have done it? What should I have done? What if I don't have another contract? What happens then? Maybe I should start looking for other jobs. Maybe I should just start going online more. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. Whirlwinds of information started flooding my head. And then I snapped. It snapped. And I said, you know what? What's for me will be for me. And it took me a couple days because I fell into this, you guys know, with the RSD, you can get into a bit and bouts of self-doubt, a little bit of self-depression. And I fell into that for a few days. And I just started going home and applying for other positions and things of that nature. And then it hit me. I'm doing prayer, meditation, I'm in tears. It hit me. Why am I making myself feel bad for being right? So another thing, I sent her the information. Another thing, I said no as a complete sentence. And it felt great. It felt great. So I ended up getting another client, which I was already doing that client a couple nights a week. And the appreciation that those clients showed me, and for them not knowing anything that was going on and telling me, you are an expert, you're awesome, you're amazing, thank you for everything. Because you know what I did? If one client didn't need my help or wanted to know, act as if they know more than me, even though I've been in this profession for years, decades, then it's okay. It's okay. Within my balancing and my barriers comes self-control. Number 2, self-control. Self-control is easier said than done, but that's something that you have to tell yourself. I did right. I'm not in control of what anyone else's choice is. One thing my mom always say is, people didn't like Jesus Christ, and that's okay. If they don't like me for who I am, if they don't like me for the color of my skin, that's okay. It doesn't make me any less of a person. I still do amazingly well at my job. All of my clients have said, all of my family has said, I am confident that I do well in what I do. I'm confident in how I perform certain tasks. I'm confident in my expertise in this field. So I had to give myself pep talk, because you can be your best friend or your worst nightmare. It depends on how you navigate the situation and the scenario. And in my case, I became my worst nightmare before I became my best friend. And it should have been the other way around. And I vented and I vented and I realized, if something and someone does not serve me, if something if someone or both does not serve me, let it go. Let them go. I prayed. Let me tell y'all, I prayed to not be in a toxic environment at that specific, in the place that I was in. When I say God showed up and showed out quicker than I could ever imagine, he did. Yeah. Within a matter of a couple of days, I had one night off out of 10 days, 10 nights. I had one night off. It was for my husband's birthday. He wanted simple, didn't want to go anywhere. Our kids came over, and one our youngest daughter's boyfriend. So it was about 1, 2, 3, our 3 kids, and then the boyfriend. That's 4, and then myself, my husband, our baby boy. That was 7 people. Do you know that those few hours, maybe about 4 or 5 hours that we all spent together, wonderful. Good food, good fun, great family, good laughs. And that further made me appreciate my why, and why I do what I do, why I help the people that I help. It doesn't matter if they don't take my advice. It doesn't matter if they don't want my help. This alone is making me reevaluate so many things in my life. And I don't know, it could be a midlife crisis. I thought my midlife crisis was having my youngest son, but I don't know. However, sometimes you have to do a complete reset in order to keep those barriers up. In order to somehow balance yourself, you have to do a complete overall reset from head to toe. And right now, I'm in the stage, I was re-strategizing, now I'm in the reset stage. It took, get off of social media for a couple of days. Sit down and do things I haven't did. Read a book. Do my do my word search, seek and find. Sit in silence. I've had to pray. I've had to sit in silence. And I'm still in the process of working through it. But I'm further along now than I was before. And another thing that I've looked at, I have outweighed my good days with my bad days. And my bad days does not even remotely equate to the best days of my life. And just that 1 day reset showed me. So those are things that we have to do. We have to look at in reference to, number 1, saying no without explanation. Saying no is a complete sentence and not feeling bad about it. Number 2, being within your self-control. Being within your self-control. And number 3, reset. Reset. And though that's how I navigated having barriers over this last couple of weeks. That's how I'm navigating balancing myself so I didn't have a mental breakdown. I lied to you not. I was actually at the burnout stage, and I needed to speak it out. I needed to speak out my burnout to avoid crashing out. That's another video for another day. But yeah, so those 3 things, I hope you guys can take this with you. Like I said, hey, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, share it, comment below on how you can resonate with this, or how this is, if you had a situation of a toxic work environment or home environment, hey, let me know in the comments. Or you could just, if you don't want it to be loud and outspoken, you can send me an email, chatterbrainmommy@gmail.com. I love you guys, and I mean it. And I'm doing these everyday videos, so I can't wait to see you soon. Raw and uncut. Let's go. Have a great day.